Good morning, Molly. It's Mrs. Jansen, and I hope you've been having fun making art. I love seeing your projects that you post on Seesaw. Today we are going to be starting a new project that is very different from our Matisse fish bowls. We are going to be making a clay Christmas tree. So I want to give you a list of the supplies that you're going to need first. What you're going to have to do is do a couple of these things, and then you're going to pause the video and take a break and come back later on because this takes several different parts to do. So the things that you are going to need the clay that I gave you, that I sent home. You're going to need a paper or plastic plate to put your clay on, and you're going to use this plate to bring your project back to school. You're going to need a Sharpie marker to put your name on the plate. You are going to need a variety of items from around your house. So in a little bit, I'm going to tell you to go and collect a bunch of these things that you can make imprints in the clay with. So I have some stamps, and I have toothpicks, a clothespin, a bolt, so it's got all the lines on the side and then the top that I can use. I have a penny, I have an Allen wrench. So these are all things that I can use. I have this other a printing block that my friend gave me from India. You could use the bottom of your shoe. So you could look at your shoes and see if they have interesting bottoms that you could use to print with. You are going to also need a small container of water. You're going to need this hard clay that I sent home. We're going to use this. You're going to get this wet, and we're going to use this to make what's kind of like a glue to attach pieces. And then you might want to have a little rag to wipe your hands on because your hands are going to get dirty. We're going to set some of these things to the side because we will use them later. What I need you to do is you're going to need a container. You can see my container's dirty because it already had clay in it. You're going to need a small container that you are going to take some of the hard clay that I gave you. You're going to put that into your container, and you're going to pour a little bit of water on it. So I want you to look at what this looks like. You can see still the top of the clay that is lighter. That means it isn't wet, but everything else around it is darker because it is getting wet. And you can see that my water is going from clear to a darker gray. I need you, this is going to be what we call slip, and it will be like a glue that we're going to use to attach a couple pieces to our tree. So I want you to go ahead and let this soak. So you can pause the video right now, and you can let this sit. It might need 15 minutes or 30 minutes to sit, and go and collect a bunch of things that we can use to make imprints in the clay. So go ahead and do that, and I will see you in a few. Welcome back, Molly. Hopefully your clay that you got wet is soft like this. This is what we call slip. It is really watered down wet clay, and we're going to be using this to act like glue, like I said before. So I have my little toothpick in here. So before we start working with our clay, we want to look at what it is that we will be making. We are going to make a Christmas tree that is going to be in the shape of a triangle, and then we're going to attach a trunk to it. And you can see this trunk here has lines in it like bark, and at the top we're going to attach a star that will have a hole in it, and then we'll be able to hang these. These clay pieces we want to put decorations on with lots of imprints. So you can see all the different designs in this one. you are going to be using all of the items that you collected, like toothpicks and screws and whatever else you found, to put imprints, or what we say texture, onto your clay tree. We will be pushing them into the soft clay and seeing what types of designs that get imprinted into it. You can use the bottom of a shoe, you can use anything that you can find around your house. So before we're able to do that, to put imprints and texture into our project, we first have to make its shape. So the first thing that we need to do is to flatten out some of our clay pieces to make that we're going to cut out into the shape of our tree. So I'm going to make this piece that I have here, and I'm just going to gently, or you can keep just pressing it down if you want. Okay, so you just kind of want to throw it a couple times and you can press it out. You can see how thin it is on the edges. Just like the one that I showed you, we want ours to be, you know, a decent size, but we want to make room for the trunk of it, and then we're going to put a star at the top. So I've got kind of this flat rectangular piece, and I'm going to go ahead, I'm taking my toothpick and I'm gently scratching out the shape of a triangle. Okay, so this isn't all the way through. Once I have a triangle, if you don't like it, like this part, there's like a little broken edge. So I think I'm going to, there, get it to go like that. So once you get it, I'm gonna just push all the way through and kind of cut the clay. So we're going to take away the excess. I'm gonna set those toothpicks to the side. So now I have a triangle. So you're going to take some of your water and you're just going to rub these sides clean, real clean and smooth. I'm going to do that on the bottom as well. And you can just see that it's getting, I'm taking off those edges from when I cut it that were rough. I'm going to pick it up and you can see these edges here. I'm going to rub these as well. I'm dipping my fingers in here and making it smooth. Now, if you're having a hard time and your clay keeps cracking, you can either start over or you can ask an adult for help as well. Your mom or your dad should be able to help you. The reason why we want to keep these edges smooth is because, one, we don't want them breaking and cracking into little pieces. But two, this also just keeps our clay in nice order for us putting texture on it. So this whole project is about experimenting with creating texture. So I want you to take some of the things that you've gathered and go ahead. We're going to decorate our tree like a Christmas tree. And what you might find is that some of the things you picked, you don't like how they look when you press them into the clay. So for example, we have, this is what that bolt looks like pressed in. So I kind of made it like a garland across the clay. You can choose to just try a bunch of different things. I'm going to try that with the Allen wrench as well. Kind of put those above. Now if I decide I don't like those, I can just smooth them all out. All right. And when you do that, if you decide, oh, I really don't like it, you can always dip your finger in that water and smooth it out again. Nice, and you can start over. So I just want you to pause the video and go ahead and experiment putting different kinds of texture in your clay. Okay, so you can see that was with a penny. So just try some different times, and if you don't like how they turn out, like I didn't like that, then I'll just smooth it out and I can start all over again. So take a few minutes, try experimenting, and put some fun texture and designs in the clay. Okay, you can see that I have a bunch of different texture on my tree. The next thing that we want to do is to work with some separate clay, and we are going to attach a trunk, and we are going to attach a star at the top. So we're going to take some of our extra clay, and you can see this was a piece that I had cut off the side. I'm going to squish this together so that I can roll it in my hand to make what we call a coil. Now this is way too long, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to cut off most of that. I'll set that to the side. And I'm going to kind of squish this down a little bit. And we are going to attach this to the bottom part of our clay. We're going to do it from the back. So I'm going to very carefully flip, don't press on that, I'm going to flip this. We are going to score this, which means it's like we're going to glue it to our top part. So I'm putting lines in here. Now I'm going to take some of this slip, this wet clay that I said acts like glue. We're going to rub a little bit in there, put the extra back. Now I'm going to put lines where I'm going to attach. And I'm going to keep smoothing it out. And we want that slip to get real smooth, and you can see how smooth. You get rid of all of the creases. And again, I can run my fingers, just get them damp, run them along the edges. I'm going to very carefully pick up my clay, and now you can see it from the front with the trunk on. I'm going to put lines, texture of lines in the trunk with my toothpick for the trunk, so we can tell that that's the wood bark. The last thing that we want to do is to take part of that flat clay that we cut off, and I'm just going to press this a little bit, and I'm going to cut this into a circle. And we have our rough edges again, so I'm using a little bit of water. And Molly, if you want, you can take a break. You don't have to do this all at once. So you can see I made that smooth. I'm going to flip it over, and you can see the sides are a little rough on this side, so I'm going to smooth those out. You do want to make sure you don't put too much water. If you put too much water on it, it'll get slimy and it's challenging. Okay, so this is, we're going to attach this to the top part, and we're going to draw a star in there. So I'm going to get my hands a little bit wetter, and then I'm going to wipe them on my cloth so that they're not too wet. So I don't want to cause problems. We're going to attach this to the top. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to create scratch lines at the top. We're going to add some of our slip, which acts like glue. Put that on top. And then we're going to scratch that the back part, and then we will attach that, and we're going to move that around until it doesn't move and press down at the same time. So, and we can check that. We're going to very carefully lift this up, And you can see we can blend this clay in where they're going to be attached. Okay, we'll flip that over again. Now we need to put a star in. Now I can draw a star. I don't know if you feel confident doing that. So that might be something you ask your mom or your dad to help you do. If you have a stamp that has a star, then you can go ahead and just press that in. But I'm going to show you how to do it, and you can do your best. So basically I made what looks like the letter A without the line that goes across it. Or you could say a triangle. That's going to be the top of our star. I'm going to do 2 lines that go out from it, like this. So if you can do that, then we are going to add lines that come down to make more triangles. You can see. And then we're going to bring lines that come down from that, like that. And then we're going to bring 2 more lines to come up. Now, if you tried this, Molly, and it just didn't go well, smooth it out and try it again. So you can do this multiple times. So I'm going to take my finger and just kind of smooth out my star. And at the top, I'm going to put a little bit of a hole so that we can string this and hang it after we decorate it. So, and again, you can wipe your fingers, wipe that on your cloth. Your extra clay you can put together in a tight ball, and that will keep it from drying out. And then you put that in a plastic bag. We could use this again. You can play with it, or you can send it back to school. So this is what your little Christmas tree texture piece of art is going to look like. It should have imprints of things that you pressed into it. It should have a trunk with texture for the bark and a star at the top with a hole that we will be able to hang it from. The last thing I need you to do is to take a marker and on your plate write your name. You can leave it sitting out and let it dry, and then maybe cover it and bring it back to school, and then we will put this in the kiln, which is a special oven to make it hard. So Molly, I hope you had fun playing with clay today, and I can't wait to see your project. Have a great week.